Hi, I'm Tyson,
I'm Colin.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Adam.
and we're the Gamesmiths, and we're here to learn how to play Heroes Legends of Novus.
Yes. All right. So, Novus, a world torn asunder due to a magical maelstrom, is in need of heroic champions to bring peace and security back to its people. Novus is a world that was torn asunder due to a powerful magical energy storm over a year ago.
Hmm.
What was once a somewhat peaceful world ruled by seven kingdoms across the world has changed dramatically over the years since the maelstrom. Since then, humankind has developed supernatural skills they are still learning how to master, what the atheists call wizardry. The religious followers believe their newfound skills are due to their god, Aura, who endows them with magical wards and the ability to overpower the undead. Alchemists have discovered how to imbue liquids with the magical energies in the air, blacksmiths have begun forging unique weapons with devastating power, and even reclusive hermits have discovered a way to use their newfound energy to commune with the animals. Across the land, dead come back to life due to the residual storm magic that permeates the air, terrorizing the unsuspecting in their mindless quest for destruction. Some humankind and animals have suffered deformations over the course of time, creating new races of creatures the people of Novus have never seen before. Goblinoids, powerful beasts, and strangely enhanced animals now roam the land. The Maelstrom's magic event created powerful beings that few people have seen firsthand and survived, such as dragons and demons. The major cities of the world have been canvassing the common folk to train and learn how to hunt and fight these creatures. The kingdoms that remained have formed a worldwide alliance to support the banishment and destruction of these races, as they all seem intent on slaughtering the people of Novus and pillaging their homes and villages.
Hmm.
Those that train are brave enough to scour the lands in search of these deformities to defeat them are dubbed Legends of Novus. After they complete adventures beyond the city's reaches and help to clear out the monstrosities, these heroes are showered with special rewards and city benefits. Now it's time for you to become a Legend of Novus. The
Exciting.
goal of the game is to have your character gain the recognition of the people and rulers of Novus. By going on adventures and defeating creatures, you will gain experience points. And once you have earned 25 experience points, or by successfully adventuring to and defeating a creature in 7 different locations, you are recognized by the people and rulers of the land as a Legend of Novus. So, we have the adventure deck, as you see there, the rewards deck, the creatures deck. Everyone has their own character sheet out in front of them. We have a couple reference cards here that you can't see off camera, but there they are. They'll remind us how to play throughout the game. And then our character cards right here. We have 2 of each of the basic classes, and then 1 of each advanced class. You're going to begin the adventure as one of 5 basic classes. Each has their own unique abilities. Throughout the game, you'll have the opportunity to change class cards or develop your class into an advanced class. So, long story short, you're going to pick one of these guys, one of these base classes, and you'll get kind of a skill and some other stuff associated with them. And then at some point, you'll be able to go into one of these advanced classes, and each advanced class is made up of 2 of the basic classes, and you'll be able to just kind of evolve into that second class
Cool.
that you get there. So we'll go ahead and I'll just kind of hand out these guys.
Is that advancement based on who you've chosen to begin with?
It is, yes.
Okay.
And we'll have a chance to choose. These aren't necessarily going to be the ones we play the game with. We're just going to give everybody one for the sake of explanation.
Yes.
So, and yeah, you see I have a little class spot right there on your character sheet. So, as we're going through, you can just kind of place your stuff on your character sheet here. And yeah. So if you look at your character class card, you have the class name and symbol. So I'm a fierce fighter, basic class fighter, and I have a little axe as my symbol. And that'll kind of come up throughout the game. You'll see different cards have different requirements, just made by the symbol. Same thing. And then when you go into an advanced class, the advanced classes each have 2 classes. So you'll be able to, it expands like the kind of things that you can use and stuff like that. So we have the character sheet here. Anything that you're allowed to have 1 card essentially in each spot, and anything that's put on your character is considered equip. So if I say you can equip something, that means you put it on there, and you equip a sword by putting it in your hand, and a helmet by putting it on your head.
Okay.
If you have something, if you have like a basic like leather hat or something like that, and then you get like a helm of awesomeness, then you can just discard the one that you have down, and yeah, you put it in the discard pile, and then put your new thing right there. So you have hands, and some weapons will require 1 or 2 hands, and that'll be noted on the card. We'll get that to a little more. But then, so you have your hands, and then you also have your hand. So you will have a hand of cards, and you will, kind of draw or whatever, and your hand limit is 5. So at the end of every turn, you got to discard down to 5 cards. Then we also have, and then every turn you'll draw at least 1 card during the adventure phase, and sometimes you'll draw more than that. Your hand is not revealed to other players, but the number of cards in it is public knowledge. So if anybody asks you how many cards you have, you got to let them know. Okay. You can use cards from your hand during multiple stages each turn, and unless stated, all cards are played on your turn. The primary exception to these are event action cards, and we'll get to those in a minute. So the game uses a D20, which is around here somewhere. And you know what a D20 is. It's a dice with 20 sides on it.
That's right.
And so whenever it says roll a die, we're going to roll a D20. If you ever pop up with a 1, regardless of bonuses or anything like that, it's always a failure. So if you roll, a natural 1, it's called a tragic failure in this one. Regardless of any modifiers, you automatically lose the roll, no matter what it was. So everybody's going to got their sheet out, everything like that. At the start of the game, each player is actually randomly given 1 basic class card, 1 random reward card, and 1 random adventure card to start off the game. The class card is placed on the character sheet, and the other 2 cards become their starting hand. Each player is also going to begin the game with 10 gold. The adventure deck, reward deck, and creature deck will be shuffled and just be reachable by all players. So we're going to go around the table taking turns. Preparation phase. During this phase, you're preparing for your next adventure by equipping the new items you have acquired using skills you have at your disposal or taking other actions you have available. To prepare, you may do each of the following things once in any order. Put an item card into play onto your character sheet. So equip an item, take an item out of your hand, place it on there. Play an event card. Those are
from your hand?
Yeah, from your hand.
Okay.
Read them as you get them.
Okay.
They'll all just have instructions on them, and if we've got questions, we can deal with them as they occur. And then you can activate one of your class abilities if you meet the criteria. So, Fierce Fighter here. Berserker Rage, discard a card from your hand to gain 1 attack until the end of turn. This ability may be used up to 2 times per turn. So assuming I have 1 or more cards in my hand, at this point I could discard it to get 1 bonus to my attack for the rest of the turn. Step 2 is the adventuring phase. During this phase, you are traveling the land, searching for ways to gain power and experience. You could be exploring ancient ruins, dark forests, underground caverns, or treacherous mountain paths, all in the hopes of ridding Novus of evil. Proceed with your phase in the following order. Flip over the top card of the adventure deck, so that's this guy. If it's an encounter card, then you'll proceed to then you'll flip over a creature card. If it's not an encounter card, so it can be okay, so I'm sorry, here's an encounter card. So if it's an encounter card like this, then you will flip over a creature. If it's not, then you look at the card and see what it does. And if it doesn't say anything other than, if it doesn't say do anything right away, then you just put it in your hand. So then it just becomes part of your hand.
So is it anything with the sword cross symbol or encounter cards?
Right.
Okay.
So this would be an encounter at a specific city.
The location is because that's a location card.
Right. So these are
So
locations.
it's still an encounter though.
Yes.
But at that city.
Yeah. And so, but then you could get things like, large treasure, 25 GP. Or destroy item. Choose an item that is in play and destroy that item. So you can get stuff like that.
Okay.
And so, flip over the top card of the adventure deck. If it is an encounter card, then you'll flip over a creature card. You are a brave hero, but not naive enough to wade into a battle with the most dangerous creatures in existence. So, if you find a creature with an attack power that is 5 points higher, that is more than 5 points higher than your current XP amount, then you must place that card under the creature deck and draw a new creature. So you can't just get murdered by something super awesome on the first turn. If you encounter, or once you encounter a creature within your XP range, you must enter battle with it, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then after the battle is over, you will proceed to the end of turn phase. And so at the end of turn, your adventure comes to an end. It is time to recover and rest before your next quest. During this phase, you may do each of the following in any order. Play 1 item card, play 1 event card, or sell any number of item cards from your hand or in play for gold to the Bank of Novus, and or sell any number of items to other players. You and that player can barter and agree on the sale price.
How are we going to keep track of money?
We will get that. I don't think we have anything, but we'll get some tokens to track money. We're just probably going to be using poker chips. Then you can also trade in gold for experience. There's this chart right here that lets us know it's 50 gold for 1 experience, 100 gold for 3 experience, and 150 gold for 5 experience.
Okay.
The first person to 25 experience wins the game. You cannot purchase your 25th point of experience with gold.
Okay.
You have to do it by completing some kind of quest or something
Okay.
like that, slaying a monster. You can't buy it.
Sure.
And if you have 10 or more experience, you may choose to change your class card to an advanced class card. The advanced class card must be available, so 2 players can't have the same one. Your current class must match one of the 2, so a fighter can become an aggressive assassin because it is a thief fighter, but it cannot become a monk since a monk is a wizard priest.
Other mixes.
Right.
Okay.
And then finally, you have to discard down to 5 cards.
So when do you draw?
You draw at the beginning of your turn, and then there are other
There's
things
an
that
adventure
say
phase.
one
From where?
when you flip the top card of the adventure deck.
Yeah, it's the adventure deck, and that may determine if you
So
go against
we
a
have
creature or not.
deck over there. We have an adventure deck, and what's the last one?
Rewards.
Rewards.
Okay, and then
Those are a bunch of items that
And
you can
those you'll get
use.
as you
kill
play.
things and
Right.
stuff. So when you're drawing from the adventure deck.
Yes.
Yes, and everybody sees it. And if it's an encounter, you kind of just get. If it's just they're
Even
ones
if you're
that are
drawing
straight
gold
encounters.
from the adventure deck.
Yeah,
people
no.
see
So
that?
if you draw gold from your adventure deck,
You
so we'll
immediately
get to
take
that. So
that
there's a
gold
couple
off.
things
Is
that
it-
can happen. Hold on, a second.
Second
Hold on,
question.
hold on, because you don't know enough to ask questions yet. Real quick. So
Okay.
let me just show you real quick.
Well, does gold count as an item? Like, does it go into like a ring slot, or
No.
is it just
Explaining there.
okay?
It's just a card that's in your hand that you can exchange to buy experience or items from other people if
Okay.
you'd like.
I have a question about something you've already explained.
Okay, which
not
is
something new. You can draw a creature that is too strong for you.
If it's five,
Correct.
five
But can
more
you
than
draw
you
a
have.
creature that's too weak for you?
No.
So if you're to your last experience point, you draw the weakest creature in the deck. You just kind of slaughter him.
bully for you.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can and you still get experience for killing little things that are way below you.
As far as I know, yes. I don't know. Each one has its reward. So some even say lose XP.
Yeah.
I saw some. There's like the highest one
Oh,
is
if you
17.
lose, you lose XP. I'm
It's
sorry,
like
that
a
one's with
Lich
1
Lord or
XP,
something.
So
It's 2 XP.
yeah. So it
But nothing's making you fight a harder monster to win the game.
no, but you have no
Yeah,
That's
I
what
think
I
the
was
highest
curious.
one is
No,
17
okay.
from what I saw.
So
but-
you have an encounter here. So if you flip that over, that just kind of happens, and you don't really get anything for the turn, and that's a bummer. So if the first card you flip out, so Adam goes first. Adam flips over this encounter card. I guess we might as well just play it out. So you flip over the encounter card, and then
We all start with the hand, though.
right,
Okay.
yeah. So you would have like you'd have one random item card and one random adventure card.
That's what you start with. But there's
Yeah,
a
so
5
you'd start-
limit. So
yeah,
you
you'd
start
start
way
with,
away
like,
from your
these.
limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you start off, you've got a holy symbol and a sorted gemstone. So that might not necessarily help you. You have this crackling imp for 3, and you have to essentially.
And I'm one
So we'll go into
experience
the
right now?
battle. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and do how the battle works.
Okay.
So nothing gets an adventurer's blood running faster than the opportunity to take down the evil creatures that roam the lands. From goblin kind to wild animals, the restless undead and powerful demons. To engage in a battle, complete the following steps in order. Read the creature card that you're in battle with. If the creature has any basic text, you have to deal with that before starting anything. So this says, when you encounter Crackling Imp, you must discard a card at random from your hand.
I assume I can't even equip that because I'm not a holy guy.
Well, you'd have to do it at
Yeah,
random,
Yeah,
so you'd have to
they're
roll
random.
for
So,
it. Like
yeah,
just
or just shuffle it. Yeah,
Make sure you discard
they're
the
gonna be-
beer.
they're in
different.
different
Okay, well,
sleeves. So
yeah, it's fine. So we just discard that holy symbol, and then
We could shuffle. another time.
okay, and then after you do that, you'll go into battle with it. And sometimes you can resolve it with some actions before the fight even starts. Then
And I
if you
start at
want,
one
you can
experience?
activate a class ability. Yeah, you start at 0 as
0.
far as I can tell.
He's a 3, so he qualifies to fight me.
Yes. And so you can choose whether or not you want to escape the battle before it starts. If you do that, you roll a d20. If you roll 15 or higher, you escape. Your turn comes to an end immediately, and the creature goes to the
No
discard
way.
pile.
Bring it on, imp.
So compare your attack value. This is a combination of your class attack bonus plus your XP bonus plus any items or card effects you have available. If the total attack is equal to or greater than the creature's attack, you win. If it's not, you lose. So you get
What do I do?
+2 against animals. But the first thing I guess you could do, you can discard 2 cards to get +2 attack bonus, but that's still not.
I don't have time.
And you would have to actually do that at the beginning of your turn. And he still has 3, which is better than your 2. So
what
you
do
would
you add?
lose, and you'd lose your XP. So you just add up your experience bonus, which is up there. So from 3 to 5, you get +1. From 6 to 10, you get +2.
Attack power.
Right, to your attack power. Plus any items that you have down here, which you just don't have any attack items really, and then your base attack plus any kind of bonuses you have. So you get +2 against
Wow, so I'm
animals.
0 to nothing.
Yeah, and you can
Or
discard
I'm
2 cards to
0 to
get
3.
2. Yeah, so you would have had a chance to beat this if it was an animal, but it didn't work. So you get the loss, which is -1 XP. But
well, did
you're
you
already
roll
at
to
0.
evade?
Well, now I want to run.
Right. Yeah, you probably wanted to
I
run,
really know how
but
the math works.
it is what it is.
Okay.
And then it also
Thought I had
just
a better
says
chance than
it also just says 1 rewards on there. So had you beaten it, you draw 1 reward
Okay.
card, and that's another way that you can kind of draw cards is by beating creatures. If you win the battle, you gain the XP that's there, so this would be 1 XP. If you lose the battle, you deal with the loss condition, which is -1 XP. And if it happens to say that you die, and we'll deal with that, how people die in a second. The other thing that can happen is if you flip over something like a gold on your turn. Oh wait, no, here's my little stack deck. If you flip over a gold on your turn. So then you flip this over, we'd all see it, and then you just bring it into your hand. And that means you went to a place that was safe and didn't have any monsters, essentially. So instead of going to a battle phase, you go to the exploration phase. And during your phase, you're exploring the lands of Novus that are safe from dangerous creatures, unless you make the choice to continue to travel to a different destination by playing an encounter card as mentioned below. You may only participate in this phase if you did not engage in battle this turn, and you may do one of the following actions. Either draw an adventure card and place it in your hand and don't show other players, draw a reward card and place it in your hand, or play an encounter card from your hand and complete a battle. So if you happen to draw an encounter card when you're secretly drawing, you can play it and get yourself a fight anyways.
Okay.
So that's kind of your option. So you flip over and you either see an encounter, which means you fight a monster, and then you fight the monster and maybe get rewards, or you turn over a non-encounter card, in which case you just get to safely explore unless you want to essentially pick a fight.
Can you also buy level
you can
up?
just draw a reward card, right?
Yes, you do one
For
of
your turn.
Yes, assuming you don't flip over an encounter.
Yeah, when you
flip
paying
over your first
gold to
card,
level
right?
up, though, what is that one of the things you can also do?
That happens at the end of your turn.
Oh,
So you can do that regardless of whether or not you got in a fight.
okay.
So you flip over your first card, and then it's either a fight, which you have to deal with, or there's no fight, so you just get to explore.
Yep.
And then if you're exploring, you get to choose one of the 3 things: adventure, reward, or encounter. And then after that's done, after either your fight's done or your exploration's done, then you go to the end of the turn. And then at the end of the turn, you can play an item card, an event card, sell any number of items you have for the gold amount on the bottom. So this is worth 5 gold. You can sell your small shield for 5 gold.
Okay.
And then you can trade in gold for experience, but only up to 24.
Can you trade stuff you have equipped already? Or does it have to be in your hand?
You can sell stuff that's already equipped.
Okay.
Yes. Or you can, like you said, barter. You can barter them with other players at the table
Okay.
and sell them for whatever you'd like. And then you can also, if you have at least 10 experience, you can go to a different class. And then that is about it, other than kind of explaining the other cards. So we have the creature card that we already kind of saw here. Fun little picture. Creature type. This one's a demon. Druids in particular get bonuses against beasts. Priests get bonuses against the undead. So the type of creature might affect how good your particular character is at fighting them.
That guy's good at he doesn't want to fight, he just wants to escape. He gets +3 escape.
He's an escaping wizard.
Whenever I escape, gain 1 XP.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Very courageous.
Coward.
I know.
Brave Sir Robin.
Wandering wizard.
So we have a few things. Let's go through the adventure deck first. A few different things that we can run into. We have regular events, which is something like Pilfer. They have no special wording or phrases. They can only be played on your turn, either at the preparation phase, so your first phase, or the end of turn phase, your last phase. And this one, Pilfer, says you may take up to 25 GP from any number of players.
So are these converted into actual money stacks, or is this just the currency of the game? I just have 40 gold. Right?
That's what I was wondering, because I know there's
And
gold
you turn
pieces
it in and
here.
get 40 to be divided, or do
It
I
is
just
worth.
spend
I
this and
think
get
it is.
changed somehow?
Yeah, it is worth 40 in your hand. Let me see. We'll look at that real quick.
Okay.
I'll see if that.
But that doesn't make sense if you get
Yeah, if you
gold
and
for
if you
that.
start off with 10,
Right.
Oh.
So I think that those cards can be used as kind of safe because clearly you can have your gold stolen and stuff like that, and the amount of gold that you have is always public knowledge. So,
So
but
you
we'll
can
look
keep
at
it
it.
in
We'll
your
look at it
hand.
here real quick and see if it comes up. But yeah, it looks like you can just kind of keep it in your hand as kind of secret money because the amount of money that you have is public knowledge. So you have to let people know that. So we'll get here. Hold on. We're going to go over. Okay. So adventure deck, events. So your adventure phase will always involve drawing at least one card from the adventure deck. In the adventure deck, there are several types you can draw, cards you can draw, which are referred to as events. The rules on an event card often change the basic rules of the game and must be followed as written when they are played. After an event card has been played and resolved, it is placed in the discard pile unless otherwise indicated. So you have regular events. They have no special wording, played when I told you to. That's like this Pilfer one that I just discussed. Or, okay. And then, yeah, there's Pilfer. Then there are action events. They can be played at any time, like Banishment here. When you play this event, automatically win a battle against a demon, lich, or dragon creature. So this can be played at any time, so it can be played during battle. Special events.
When you say anytime, is that anytime on your turn or anytime?
They can be used
on somebody else's turn.
On somebody else's turn. I don't know. When you play this event, you automatically win a battle.
because you're not if it's not your turn, you're not going to be fighting whatever it is, so you won't get the experience for it.
Right.
I think they would still get well, I don't know if they get the experience. So like would you think it would take the experience away from someone else if you did it on someone else's turn?
That's what I'm curious about. I don't know if that means anytime only on your
Yeah,
turn.
I don't know if that means because it says you automatically
Regardless
win a
of what
battle.
phase or whose turn it is.
So
Yeah.
whose turn, yeah.
Because it does say that the action events can be played at any time, regardless of what phase or whose turn. So,
Okay.
So you
yeah,
can steal stuff from people.
that does seem like you can steal that one.
Steal their win.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it says you win the battle against the.
But you're not fighting
Demon,
it,
Lich,
so
or
I don't
Ghoul.
know.
But it says regardless of whose turn it is.
Regardless of phase or whose turn it is, you can play it.
But
So-
doesn't the card say like you defeat the
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
But
when
if
you
it's not your
play this event, you automatically win a battle against a demon, lich, or
because
dragon.
I would
creature.
say that technically
And
the
then this
person who
says-
drew it is the one who's fighting it, and that's why it's their turn.
But
so,
it says
so you wouldn't
may
be
the
fighting
light
it.
of Aura strike you down. So it's like
You're an
I'm
observer.
How do we
over
wanna play
here,
that?
and I'm using it. I think you steal the
I think
win.
I don't-
Yeah, because
no,
hold on,
I don't
'cause
think
this
so.
This one that says not in battle says you may play this event card when you are facing a creature in battle.
Right.
So this one specifies it has to be played when you're facing the creature. This one does not. So I would say that this one would be allowed to essentially, just
Okay.
sneak
So,
in and
it
banish a
sounds
demon
like
and steal a win.
The structure
But-
to this is fairly simple,
Yeah.
and there's lots of different cards that do lots of different things. Do you know enough? Do you feel about the rules that we can play as we go, or learn a little bit as we
well,
go?
yeah,
Or
there are a
certain
couple things-
that are.
Well, there are a
dark
couple
still?
more types that I want to explain. So the
Okay.
weapons there are a few things that are pretty self-explanatory, but the curse events have a little skull on them, and you basically permanently attach it to the player that it affects, and they can only be removed with certain events or class abilities. So you can essentially curse other players
I did put a curse.
and do bad things. So I got
I
one
put a
right
curse in the item
here.
in the item deck. There was
Some items might be cursed. Okay, we'll figure that out later.
okay.
Then there are treasure events. Okay, so these are the ones. When these cards are played, you gain an amount of treasure that may be traded for XP at the end of your turn. You are not required to trade these cards in, and you may prefer to save them from your hand. So yeah, you would just spend them from your hand. Reward cards. You will earn reward cards. That's this deck here. So you'll earn reward cards. Spellbook. The cards will have requirements on them. So you have to. They'll have both requirements on them and slots that they go in. So here's Nature's Supplies. It requires you to be a druid to use it, and it goes in one of your miscellaneous slots. Yeah.
Well, are they the same, even though they're two different items?
I
Or two
believe
icons?
so. Yes.
Does it have to go in the scroll slot?
Um,
That was my thought. Question.
I believe that I believe it specifically. Yeah, I think they all the miscellaneous items are going to go
In a
have that
slot
same
in the-
icon. Yeah,
Okay.
but can go in any of the three
Ring,
slots.
canteen, or
Yeah, any of the ones that say item. Yeah.
scroll? Okay.
So you will earn blah, 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 blah. So there, yeah, the treasure items, the use items, the equipment items, and the equipment items that are equipped. So the use items, these kinds of items can be equipped in any of the three slots. Once they are on your character, you may use them at any time unless indicated. And once the card has been used, you can put it in. You have to discard it essentially.
So one use.
Yeah, so they're kind of one-use items. Equipment items are items that must be played onto your character sheet and usually often provide permanent effects to your characters. You're going to have a location item to show where it goes. Spellbook here you see has one hand, as does like the dagger, and then you'll get to bigger stuff like the heavy warhammer that has two hands on it. And so if you have one of those, then you have to leave your other hand open kind of to use it. Armor items are the same. Everything is just essentially going to give you an attack bonus, even your even your armor items, because they just increase your chance of actually beating the enemy. So, and then treasure. As you adventure through, you will gain treasure from the adventures and rewards you come across. You can also sell items for gold. All gold that you save is kept in a pile to the right of your character sheet. When you sell an item, you place the item in the reward discard pile and gain the gold from the bank. You can use the gold to barter with other players. You cannot barter for event cards, only item cards. And your total gold value is public knowledge. So if anyone asks, please just tell them. During the end of turn phase, you can trade in the gold like we discussed. So location cards, we saw those. Those are the sideways ones. These are adventure encounter cards. So they are encounters as you see the symbol up there. And then reveal creature cards until you reveal 2 animal creatures. You must battle those creatures and reset the deck. And if you successfully defeat the creature battle in the location that you fight for, then you keep this location to the left of your character sheet. And if you can get 7 locations, you win the game as well. So either getting 7 locations like that, or your experience, which we're going to count on these dials, which start at 0. So experience up to 25, or number of locations up to 7. So we'll get to, death. If you die, you will remove and discard all item and event cards on your character sheet. So you would get rid of curses, everything like that. You basically just get rid of everything. You choose an unused basic card class from the class cards. And you cannot be the same class you just died with. And you cannot become an advanced class until the end of your next turn. You keep the golden experience that you have earned so far. Keep any cards that you had in hand when you die. And some cards and abilities can prevent death. If this happens, your character does not actually die, and your turn proceeds as if it didn't happen.
So what's the negative to dying?
Losing everything you have equipped.
Oh, but you keep
and
your
your
gold
class.
and your,
You change your class.
You lose your class and everything that you have equipped. And
you
so,
lose your class, you weren't playing it very well. So
right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
you need a
potentially
different one.
you,
shouldn't be allowed to.
if the class you play, if enough people have died, if the class you played is the only one available, you can't play anymore.
So,
Good point.
true. And we all laugh at you. At some point, there will be one courageous, brave, and maybe even lucky enough adventurer who achieves enough experience to be recognized as the winner of the game. Remember, the amount of XP you require to win is 25, unless you and your opponents decide otherwise. However, here are a few rules to finishing off the game. You can only win the game at the end of turn phase on your turn. If something allows you to gain XP during another player's turn, you must wait until your turn and complete your turn while still at or above the required 25 XP in order to win the game. You may not purchase your final XP with gold. This means you can only exchange enough gold to bring yourself up to 24. You must earn the final point of XP from an event card, an ability, or by winning a battle. A player may not win the game during a turn in which their character died. It is rare that this would happen, but if it does, they must wait until the end of their next turn to be declared the winner. Alternatively, you know the word, you may win the game by having 7 different location cards, only attainable through battle unless cards state otherwise. Once you've obtained your 7th location, you win the game and end that turn. Does anyone have any questions?
Sounds good.
Seems pretty straightforward. Seems like one of those games that has a lot of rules to pretty much explain. Read the cards and do what they say.
Yeah.
So cool. Seems like fun, and we'll see you in the game.